The room burst into laughter as the janitor, an older black man in a faded uniform, was pushed toward the grand piano. "Play us something," someone cheered, their voice dripping with mockery. They thought it was a joke, but when his fingers touched the keys, the laughter died, and even the CEO's eyes filled with tears. He stood there in silence, mop in hand, the smell of cleaning solutions still clinging to his uniform. The crowd of executives leaned back in their leather chairs, smirking at the man who had spent years sweeping their floors, emptying their bins, and going unnoticed. Tonight, in the glow of chandeliers and polished marble, they decided to make him the evening's entertainment. The invitation wasn't an honor, it was a challenge masked as humor. Someone pointed toward the piano in the corner, a glossy black, grand, untouched until now. The mocking words hung in the air. "Why don't you play us a tune?" Laughter rippled. The man's calloused hands tightened on the mop handle. His eyes, however, revealed nothing. There was no anger, no protest, only a stillness. He walked slowly toward the piano. Each step echoed with decades of silent labor, each one carrying the weight of stories no one in that room had cared to know. The polished surface of the keys reflected the lines on his weathered face. He sat, hunched slightly, his uniform a stark contrast to the gleaming instrument. For a long moment, he didn't move. The executives whispered, some rolled their eyes. One even muttered that this was going to be embarrassing. But then his fingers lowered gently, like one would touch the hand of an old friend. And the music began. It wasn't clumsy. It wasn't hesitant. It was powerful, flowing like a hidden river breaking free from stone. Notes rose and fell with aching beauty, filling every corner of the room. The audience froze. The laughter that once coated the air had evaporated, replaced by a silence heavy with awe. The janitor's mind drifted as he played, back to a small southern church where, as a boy, he first pressed keys with trembling fingers. Back to nights when his mother worked 2 jobs and he played hymns to ease her tired heart. Back to the days before war took his brother and hardship took his dreams. The piano had been his refuge, the one place where grief turned into something that resembled hope. Now, years later, his hands carried those memories, those wounds. Into every note, the melody spoke of love lost, of silent sacrifices, of battles fought in the shadows of history. It wasn't just music, it was testimony. The CEO, a man known for his steel heart and unshakable authority, felt something stir within him. His vision blurred as tears welled. He turned his face slightly, as if ashamed of the emotion breaking through. The executives, once smug, now sat motionless, their arrogance undone by the raw humanity pouring from the instrument. When the final chord lingered in the air, the janitor lifted his hands slowly, almost reverently, as though releasing the past back into silence. He didn't bow. He didn't wait for applause. He simply stood, adjusted his uniform, and began to walk back to his mop. But the room didn't allow it. No one laughed. No one moved. For the first time in years, every eye looked at him not as the janitor, but as something more, someone who carried dignity greater than wealth could buy. And then came a whisper from the back of the room, trembling yet clear. respect does not wear a suit. Another voice followed. Some heroes sweep floors, others sweep hearts. The janitor paused, his back still turned. His silence spoke louder than any reply could. The tears on the CEO's face were his only acknowledgement. The unspoken apology of a man who had just been taught that greatness can hide in plain sight. The meeting ended not with contracts signed, but with humility restored. That night, an entire room of leaders was reminded of something they had long forgotten. Honor is not about position, but about spirit. And as the janitor returned to his quiet work, he carried with him a truth that would outlive every executive in that hall. Dignity doesn't demand attention. It commands it in silence. Stories like this remind us that respect is never measured by a uniform, a title, or a paycheck. It is measured by the unseen sacrifices and the hidden strength people carry. Wherever you're watching from, share your thoughts below. What lesson do you take from this story? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that honor silent heroes. Because sometimes the quietest souls carry the loudest truths.